All right, good morning, folks. Welcome back to fabrication. It is Friday, and we have a little demo for you today. Sorry, just adjusting the mic here. And yes, we got a little demo for you today. What we're doing is we're going to run those stringers on that 6x6 plate for the stringers versus weaves plate. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a stringer around each of the outsides. So it's going to be 4 edge welds. We're going to do it in a box formation. So we're going to chase one end to the next, to the next, to the next, and we're going to overlap all of our stop starts. That's just a really nice way of doing that. It keeps it neat, keeps it tidy. The goal for this is good, clean stringers right on the edge of the plate. Using 1/4-inch plate, I was going to use 3/8, but I didn't have any cut up, so I got 1/4. I'm going to turn my temperature down or my amperage down a little bit. 3/8 plate, I run around 120 amps. It's going to be a little hot for 1/4-inch, especially working on the edge of the plate. So I've turned that down to about 115. We're going to run the first one, see where we're at. We're still too warm. You can turn it down a little bit more than that. I wouldn't go much more than that, though. For this exercise today, we're not putting a whole lot of angle on the rods. We're not laying it back at a big angle because that's going to increase your arc length at the end of the rod. So the distance between the end of the electrode and your plate is going to be bigger just due to the angle. That electrical fan you see, that kind of fire looking thing, is going to be bigger. It's going to heat up a bigger area. Therefore, you have less control over the puddle in general. So we're going to keep it pretty straight up and down, 5, maybe 10 degrees bit of an angle. We're going to keep it nice and short. That's going to keep that arc short. It's going to keep our heat localized in that small area we want it to be. And then it's going to be give us a better overall end result. Because when you've got that long arc, the arc tends to wander and spit and spatter. And that's when you get those spatter chunks kicking all over your plate, potential undercut, an uneven shaped bead. It's just not a really good process. Sometimes we can't avoid it. We're stuck in a weird position. It's got to happen that way. But for things like this, where we can move ourselves around this plate, I like to work as best I can with the pretty much straight up and down angle, maybe 5 degrees, lay back on that. I don't have my safety glasses, so I'm going to grab those and we'll be right back. We'll get this thing started up. So since these plates have been in the cupboard for a while, I always mention it's great practice to clean your plates up all the time. I'm going to run this one across the buffer, that buffer right there, just a little bit. I get the soapstone off it from yesterday, so I don't need those lines. I'll draw them on again later. Get any potential dust, dirt, grime, mill scale off the plate, and it's just going to give us a better end result. So let's get it done. All right, so buffed up nice and clean. So you've taken the mill scale off the edges there, got that shiny look to it. So we're going to start working on that. So I've got the machine set up in here at 115 amps, 40% arc force. That's going to be our happy little zone. If we find we can go up from there, cool. If we have to come down from there, that's fine as well. Let's see what's in the chat here, make sure everything's So I'm going to work on the back side of the table, allow you guys to see a little bit more. Gotten a bit of clutter here, so we're going to just clean up the workspace just a bit, get it nice and user friendly. Got some rods here already, 1/8 7018, just fresh out of the oven, still nice and warm. We have our rod stub pail, so we're going to use that. Okay. All right, so we're going to get ourselves situated here. I like to do a dry run over the area a couple times before actually doing any welding. So I also like to put a little bit of a bend in my rod at the tip, back here. That just makes it easier on the wrist, so you're not getting your arm up in a weird position. Try and get that downward angle. This is going to assist you with that. I work on the far side of the plate. So just like when we're doing our stringer padding, I'm going to work from the far side of the plate to the close side to me. So I'm going to work on this outside edge, going to turn this 90 degrees, tie that corner in, weld this edge, tie that in, weld that edge, so on and so forth. You guys get the picture. So I guess there's nothing to it but to do it, and let's see how this one goes. This pass will tell me whether I'm good with my temperature or amperage, or I need to turn it up or I need to turn it down. So let's see what happens. All right, amperage is good. It's in a nice spot. Burns well, doesn't overheat the plate. I did come off my line just a slight little bit on one edge, so we'll show you guys that. Sorry for all you guys on microphone or headphones. See if I can buff this off instead of chipping the whole thing. Let's keep the noise down. All right, so first pass is in, decent-ish. There's one spot on the top right there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I missed the edge. I came slightly inside on the edge. I didn't come out and grab it. The rest of this grabs the edge the whole way. Decent enough. It's nothing to write home about, but it's a good little start. So next one should be a little better, and we'll go from there. So with the next one, I'm going to start where this last one ended, and I'm going to start there, come down. Well, not come down. I'm actually going to work across my body again. So I'll have it set up here, start here, weld across to there, turn it, same deal, same deal. So let's get those 4 done, and then we'll maybe lay out some other stringers on here and see how that goes. Nice thing is I've got a lot of rods still, so I don't need to change rods. Just gonna make sure I can use this one by cleaning that tip. Make sure I get that nice restart. So I got the core wire exposed. That should give me a nice easy restart when I go to work on this plate here. The biggest thing with this, guys, is you're going to want to get your head in a place where you can see. I have to move my head around to the back side of the weld so I can see the edge of the puddle. If that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. But this is not a good thing to hold this in front of your line of sight and go at it blind. So I always move my head to a position that allows me to see a little better. All right, that one went real nice. Still think I missed a little tiny bit of the edge there at the start. I was kind of getting situated and may have just not quite got it all. Pass 2 doesn't look bad. Starting to warm up, so we're going to use some vice grips to hold the plate. Get these set up. Should be good. All right. Then we'll start the next one. So some slight improvements on this one. The bead profile looks better, but as you can see right here, I did miss some of that edge again. So I'm having a little bit of an issue with that, and it's always right near the beginning. Last one here was right there. So yeah, it's gonna take some practice. This is just first time I've done this in some time. You guys, I'm gonna have you guys warm up on scrap steel. Get your beads down before I give this to you, so that way you guys can turn in some nice material. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap up 3 and 4 on here. Then we'll cool it down. We'll draw some lines on it. We'll place some stringers over those lines, and then we will start to maybe put a weave or 2 in. All right, once again, just get yourself nice and comfy. Here you can see, and good to go. I'm going to try and avoid missing that edge this time around. Really going to focus on that top edge of the puddle. Okay, so I think I was able to hold that top edge the whole way. Ship this edge here, restart, and put the last one on, then we'll clean it up. So just gonna make sure I got core wire exposed. For it. Thought I had the core wire exposed. All right, so that last one, I think that was the best one we've done yet. Everyone improved. Every single one was better than last, which is what we want, is progress. Also, if we haven't done it in a while, it's going to take a little bit for it to come back to us. So don't get discouraged if you guys haven't had a good result after the first one. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab the pliers, cool it down, then buff it off. And we'll take a look, see how it looks. All right, folks. So, pass one. We'll call that one the warm-up pass. We can see it's inconsistent in the travel speed. I was watching this edge. I wasn't really watching this edge. Just kind of getting my bearings back on that one. From there, we went to, the second pass, which is this one right here. Definitely more consistent profile-wise as far as bead. It's nice and smooth, but I did see right there, miss that edge. Third one. I made sure I focused on that edge. Got that edge the whole way. Profile's looking pretty good. A little bit of a wobble in it. Nothing too much though. And pass 4, pretty good bottom edge. And pretty much great top edge. So we improve as we go along and do this. So don't get discouraged as you don't have a great result the first time around. With this now, next step is going to be to draw on a set of stringers. So we're going to draw one set of stringers on here, and I'm going to place 2 lines right just off the side of this the stringer bead here. You can also incorporate the stringer bead on the edge into one of your weaves if you want. So we can do that. And let's get soapstone and a straight edge, and let's draw that up. What I'm doing here, guys, I'm going to take this. I've got it set at 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to run it down the edge of the plate and draw that line. That should be the middle of that next weld bead. Then we'll have a valley down the middle here that we're going to fill in with a weave. So we'll do the first one. We'll show you guys that. And depending where we are time-wise, we'll probably catch a loose for the weekend. A heavy straight line. You're going to need to be able to see it while welding. So it doesn't hurt to put something on there that's got some presence, something that you'll be able to see and you won't lose in the light of the arc. If you guys are having a hard time with this too, you can turn the brightness on your helmet down just a touch. Say if you're running a shade 10, go to shade 9, it might give you better visuals. If not, then there are other ways of doing this too. We can take something like a grinder. We can take it on edge and we can score that line with the edge of the grinder. Just gonna check my helmet because I like to turn it down just a little bit when I do this. So I turn it down to 9. This is kind of the money here. You want to try and get these nice and straight, and this is where the potential for failure is. The edge welds, you get those pretty well, but here, if you lose your line, you weld this big arc across the plate, that's not going to be that great. So a little bit of pressure, but not too much. But this is welding on these lines, kind of welding. I call it blind because you don't have a joint to follow. You don't have a edge to follow. You're just trying to follow a line. These blind type welds on plates, I find them to be one of the harder things we're doing here. So let's see if I can do this and maybe not mess it up. But if I do, I do. If I don't, well, that's good. Let's see how it goes. So having that thick, robust line on there, that really helped. I was able to see it fairly well the whole time. So this line should be fairly straight. And it's not perfect, but it'll do for what we're doing today. So not the most straight stringer I've ever done, but considering we've got no edges to follow, we're trying to follow a line, it's okay. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna start doing a weave weld. And that weave weld, like I drew on the board yesterday, we're gonna go from basically start here, warm up the rod, we're gonna go from edge or peak to peak to peak to peak to peak to peak across this, filling this weld in the whole way, weaving side to side, giving us a nice consistent cap. And this is what you'll see on pipe caps. A lot of flat groove welds will do weaves like that. Some people prefer stringers. I still like to do the weaves. They're fun, they look nice, and it's always nice when you get a really nice one because the slag will lift off and peel nicely, and that always makes us feel good. So let's do that, and then we'll get you guys out of here for the day. When we do these caps, we always work across our body. We're not working towards us or away from us. When we are welding pipe, and say we're rolling a position pipe, we'll generally work on it right in front of us, and it'll roll away from us. But a situation like this, we're going to work across our body. All right, see how it goes. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to warm it up on the back and bring it to one peak, then the next, get that puddle going across, and try and maintain that puddle, same size, same shape, same everything, with a little bit of side-to-side motion, full way across. All right, so we didn't get the whole way in one rod. What we're gonna do is we're gonna chip this end off, and we're gonna see that puddle. It's gonna be about the size of a dime, maybe a nickel. It's gonna have that little shape on the back. It's gonna have that round kind of crater at the front. What we're gonna do there is we're gonna tie into it with a welding rod. We're gonna start the rod in front of that. We're gonna take it all the way up the back of the puddle to that edge of that round circle. We're gonna lead our rod across that and start our weave, and hopefully make it look like one weld instead of two individual welds. So it's good to do this when the metal is nice and hot. You don't want to really cool it down between passes, because then that's going to create a distinct difference in the shape of your weld. We're going to take this smaller rod here from earlier. Use that to finish up this weave. Make sure the core wire is exposed. Good to go. So I'm gonna start on the front, trace up the back, and hopefully blend this in nicely. All right, so when doing this, it will get warm, so be careful where you put your hands. This hand got warm, this glove started to shrink up a little bit, I can feel it. So just be aware of the heat input in this, because we are dropping a massive amount of heat into here. Cool this down, and then we'll take a look at it. So that there, folks, is the end result. As you can see, got a line here. That's the top of this bead. Then we've got this bead spanning, and then we've got that bead there. So you can kind of clearly see those. In that case, what I would have done if I could redo this, I would have made this distance between this bead and this bead a little smaller. I would have put these beads in a little cooler temperature, brought them up a little taller, and then weaved a little tighter through here. Overall, it's not bad as far as profile goes. There's no big lumps. Consistency is mostly there. You can see where my tie-in was right here. I generally don't like to see those, but you know, it's the way it goes sometimes. As we do more of these, we will get better. And that is what we're gonna do for this plate. We're gonna do 5 of these across here. So we got 1, we'll do another 2, 3, 4, and 5 on this edge. And that is this basically padding assignment. It builds skill, it gets your head back in the game as far as travel speed, arc length, things like that. All those things associated with field and metal arc welding. And yeah, it's not a small little project, but it's definitely not a big one. With this, nice thing is you get multiple attempts to improve. And I'm not looking for something that's perfect the whole way across. I'm looking for growth and improvement as you move across that plate. Just like when I did my first 4 edge welds, my first one, second one, third one was okay, and fourth one was, I was very, no, not very, but pretty happy with my 4th weld on the edge weld. So it's that improvement. We just need to see that going on. So with that being said, guys, we are done for today. It is Friday. Be nice to your teachers. We're all struggling here together. You know, we had a bit of a staff meeting this morning, and none of us like what's going on. None of us want to teach this way. We all teach hands-on. We like to be face-to-face in person, whether it be a core class or a CTS class like we have here. So just know that you guys aren't alone in this. We all feel it. But we're keeping on a strong face for you guys, and hoping you guys can stay strong through all this, and hopefully see you May 17th, right? That's that date we got given, May 17th. So Fingers crossed. Okay, with that, have a great weekend, guys. Stay healthy. Go do something nice this weekend. Get your heads in a good space. I'm going for a walk out in the woods, and it'll just kind of help me maintain my sanity. So do your happy thing, what makes you happy. Try and get some time away from electronics, and have a great weekend, folks. If there is any questions, you guys can ask them now. I'm just going to stop the recording.